Opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to number 4, public input. Do we have any public input tonight?
I have public input. I passed around to everybody. Oh, I didn't give you that. Sorry. Oops. I was at the clubhouse eating on Saturday, and there was a really bad fly problem inside. So I know of these in most restaurants in California and stuff. But, so I looked it up to see, and then I had Pat help me. And so the price is on here, because I talked to even Landon, and we said like the bar area, that door definitely should have one. And they do make them double wide for above the entry door. But that one's like $859. But we could have Axel maybe give us a quote on how much to install them over the doors. What it does is every time the door opens, it sends a jet of air down that makes it harder for them to come in, and they can't go through that. And they helped a lot in the places where I've been that had them. So this was just something for you guys to look at and see, and maybe we could check on the pricing and stuff. More checking on it, because this was like from just today doing it. But I just wanted everybody to know, and because it bothered me on Saturday, because I talk a lot. So the food was, they wanted my food. So, but that's all I got.
Thank you. Any other public input?
Yes, so this was dropped off at the city office. It was in front of me, because I'm assuming since I'm on streets. I will read it. It is a letter from Delilah Webster. It says, City Council, I was told when I paid curb and gutter taxes for years it was to keep the streets up. Why are you not doing that? I can hardly find a street without falling into a hole. I am on Social Security, so the extra expense of replace new tires is hard. I feel I paid my share to keep the streets safe. I feel you should pay your share of my tires. I would have had a bad accident if my son-in-law had not found how bad my tires were. I have my car serviced every oil change. And there's also a receipt of $819.96. It looks like it is for new tires.
She called me too, and she hit a pothole. And I asked her where the pothole was, and it was down on Broad Street and then below her, not in front of her house. But she said either they got to mark the potholes so you don't hit them, or fix them. And I mean, justifiably, she also wondered why the water bill has went up. She also wanted to know, she knew the sewer had went up. But she said, I can hardly make it anymore with all these. And I did tell her, I don't think we can be paying for new tires. Am I right there? I said we had a recent issue with something else. And so I did tell her that, but I told her she could go ahead and put in a complaint. So she did. So I don't know. She was upset. I'm not going to say she wasn't.
I don't mind calling and talking to her and letting her know that if I need to do that. I can talk with Lonnie and kind of see where we're at in the process of getting.
I tried to tell her that, but we're working on them.
Yeah. And just kind of so she feels that she's heard and that there is stuff in progress. It just doesn't take into this area. If that would be what we want to do, I would do that.
I would say that'd be fine.
But we don't act on paying the bill, correct? To me, it would be a little hard to prove 4 tires from a pothole.
It does say on here that the last time her vehicle was serviced a few months ago. there's a side note. On May 24th, took car to Jerry's to be serviced, and they said everything's fine. I'm assuming that means since May to the date is July 16th, that is when her tires went bad. Or how quickly they went bad, I should say.
I mean, I get it, it is normal wear, it's a wear point of the vehicle, but at this point, I mean, we got a sewer project going on, we got multiple other things going on, and we just, we're a little behind, but I think in the past years, I think for a small town, I think we've had really good streets overall.
Well, I mean, I can kind of understand some of her concern though, because I know just on Lincoln Drive alone, there's at least 3 to 4 potholes. One is looking like it's getting close to about 2 to 3 inches deep. And it's, I would say, probably a good close to a foot long in length and width. You know, that'll definitely hit your tire pretty good. You know, just on that one alone. And that's right there next to where I believe that culvert or drainage deal is, right there.
Didn't they fix that one? No?
I just drove by that
Oh, it's
today,
still yet
and it's
tonight? The big
still there and still cleaned out to the point to where it's deep and nothing filled in it
She
just
also
yet.
complained about down on the corner, but I haven't noticed.
On
down-
the corner of
That
Broad and
curve.
First? Oh, on the curve?
Down by yours.
That is
Oh, that one. That one is bad, yeah.
Well, then there's the one right at the intersection that's just managed to get filled in by sand and dirt and silt and whatever from runoff. But every once in a while, when we have a good heavy rain, it gets cleaned out, and it's about halfway across it right now at about a good 4 to 5 inches in width. You know, whenever you take a scooter or anything over that, you definitely feel it. I mean, you have, right now, if you're turning onto that side, onto that street right there,
He'll hit it.
you have to go basically into the oncoming lane just to keep from hitting that pothole because of its length. So, I mean, I do understand her concerns there, where it's been an ongoing problem for long enough where, you know, hopefully we could get somebody to at least do something to patch it for the short term until something else can get done, you know. So I do understand her concern there.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with the concern. I mean, I appreciate her bringing it to the city's attention. But on both ends of the stick, I mean, I think our hands are tied on finances to a degree, but with, you know, Lonnie trying to help out at the golf course on Landon's old position, you know, Lonnie's taking on Dale's position, as well as Dale is retiring from the wastewater treatment plant. So if we can hire 2-3 more guys, I would say we can get the work done more efficiently, but at this point, we're just running a little behind, and we'll try our best to try to get these holes fixed. I think that's a good way to put it. Go ahead.
So is it finances or is it man hours? Because if it's finances, that would be a separate line item, wouldn't it be?
To a degree, I guess, I mean, the way you want, depends how you want to look at it. I mean, we got so many hours in a week, and the hours that Lonnie is putting in at the golf course, putting in on the streets, putting into repairs. I mean, a lot of our machinery, we don't send out. We do an in-house repair if possible. I mean, our flat face roller just had the radiator go out, and they're going to charge $1,000 to put it in, and Lonnie and Jimmy, I think, had it out within an hour and a half. So, I mean, we run out of time, but I'm saying on the finance side of it, I don't know if we're at the standpoint where we can afford to hire additional guys.
But repair and maintenance is a below the line budget item.
Correct.
So that would be something that you would anticipate when you do your annual budget, that repair and maintenance would be included in a budget. So if you're anticipating maintenance of routine equipment, you can go on any street in Old Alcester tonight and find 20 potholes from 11 down. I guarantee it. We can go right now.
Sure.
I don't have a home in Old Alcester. I'm over on Anderson. However, I can promise you. So if there's a budget line item that's a deficit, then why wasn't that anticipated in the below line for this year? If it's a manpower issue, that would be above the line, and why wasn't that anticipated and why aren't you hiring for those people? Because I know what we pay in taxes, and it's over $4,000 a year. So we pay our taxes to ensure that the city continues and prospers. And that includes manpower to make sure the city flourishes. I know there's big projects, but those projects have also been anticipated. So where is the balance? That's my question.
You got a good point, I understand that. I'm not disagreeing that we don't have potholes in the city. I don't disagree. But when we have somebody resign from a position, that I understand that Lonnie does not fulfill that position full-time, but if we couldn't find anybody to do that, handle that side of it.
Have you put out an ad to hire for those positions?
Yeah, we did. We hired Jeff Jackals, I believe.
So you're at full staffing?
He is just hired for mowing, not the chemical, the greens type, Landon's duties that he had.
So you don't have a wastewater operator for water and sewer?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so you have the certificated water and sewer operators?
Correct.
That you've rehired?
No, Dale Pearson has not retired yet.
Okay, so when he retires, you're gonna put out that ad?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, to a degree, we'll probably put out an ad for the street maintenance side of it because Lonnie is in the process of learning that position of all the ins and outs of the sewer plant. And so he's learning that from Dale. That is now, Dale's been certified. Lonnie's in the process of getting certified. And he's learning that. So when Dale does retire, Lonnie will be taking on the sewer project or plant as well, the responsibility. And at that point, we will hire for a maintenance, street repair, whatever across the board on that side of it.
So are you concerned that this wastewater treatment plant is above the grade of anyone that's operating in this city right now? Are
No.
you concerned that the city, doesn't have an employee that can operate that wastewater treatment plant?
That's a loaded question because, I don't know how to run it. I'm sure I can learn how to run that. But,
If you're certificated.
correct. And I don't know why, they're not gonna teach our employees how to run it properly and certify them.
Right.
Because, this new sewer plant is not any more technical than our old one. Our old one was chemicals and had a lot of other things going on, so is newer always better? No, but is it something that we had to move forward with? Yes. So, I believe that our employees will have the knowledge to run it properly.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns, public input? Move on to number 5, Community Center Golf Course with Kelsey or Landon.
I don't really have much for updates tonight, but I just know we've been really busy with golf season. Our weekends have been phenomenal, about 10,000 each weekend. We might need to hire another waitress as we get into fall season, as most of our servers are in volleyball, some going out of town for 6 weekends. When we do the budget for 2024, I think we need to look at more golf carts. Each weekend I work, we keep running out, and we have a wait line to get carts rented out. So, can we do that? And getting approached today about competition against the bar July 29th, no. This event, the 29th, is a bunch of elderly patrons coming to listen to a Christian concert. It will not be competitive with the bar street dance. So I just want to get that clear tonight. Anyway, we need a new, well, not needed, but we need a freezer for the community center. Our freezer, there's just not enough room. So in front of you in your packets, I think there's some quotes. I did some contacting to get some quotes of different freezers. So I don't know what you guys are willing to spend up to, but it is easy.
So the model we have currently in the kitchen is the Turbo Air.
think it came from Lauer though.
It did not, it came out of Minneapolis. We do have, I have never heard of this brand called Atosa. I'm not familiar with that one. But we have had an Everest model cooler, and the beer cooler we bought for the bar was a True. So we have had that as well. And they both have been, all three of them have been good brands for us.
I was up there today and we don't have room, he's not exaggerating. And the small freezer that we brought over from the old clubhouse.
It's on its last leg. I
It's
think.
on its, it looks on its last leg. It's not very big.
It needs defrosted, but we have nowhere to put the stuff that's in it now to keep it frozen, but.
And they have an upright that they're using for the pizzas. And that
And
kind of-
desserts.
It's old too. So, and in the future, I think we're gonna have to look into another cooler for beer because
Yep.
they have been going through so much beer. They were stacking, they have nowhere to put it. The order came today, and so
Coke
they
came
gotta
today.
take hot beer and try to keep it
In the walk-in.
in the walk. It's, they can't keep up
Yeah.
because it's not cooling fast enough to go out to the golf course, which is a good problem to have.
We've been really busy.
Yeah. What did you get today? You got a 75?
So I got a call from Smithfield. They want 72 golfers coming here in September. I think it was the 10th or 17th. He doesn't know for sure, but and we might be doing that meal as well. So we'll need carts ordered too.
And I vouched for him on the carts because my son-in-law and
Yes.
his two son-in-laws came down on Saturday to go out and golf at 4 o'clock and there was no carts. So they had to
We
walk.
keep running out
That's been happening a lot, I know.
every weekend, pretty much.
So if it's so busy, what did we profit last month?
I didn't even see June.
I want to say 15, 18.
The golf course has gotten a very good reputation, so hopefully we can do that.
Well, I guess what would you like to do on the coolers? Any ideas or concerns on them?
Obviously, I know like buying new would be what the preference would be, so we know it's new, it'll last a long time, but have we looked into like a restaurant consignment to see if we can get anything that's from restaurants like closing down and different things like that to see if we could maybe offset the cost a little bit until maybe next year's budget, or, you know, we know that we have a good footing to put a bill aside. I don't know if that's ever been discussed or looked into.
I haven't looked into that, no.
I do have a vendor in the cities.
That's what I was thinking. I know there's a couple restaurant consignments in the cities that, that's what I was thinking.
He would be an avenue for us, and I can give you his contact information tomorrow.
Just to see if we could maybe get something that is of good quality of these brands, so we know that they will work for a long time. And
What about the place in camp? 'Cause Dave and I went up there and looked at some things before we opened. Didn't we get some things from camp?
One or two smaller.
And would they,
What's in camp?
He's an auction house.
Oh, okay.
because I think we got a couple grills there. Might be another option to see. Then you could go look at it if they have them. They might not have them.
yeah, auctions are a little bit typically older, maybe not as good of quality. I just know consignments, especially in the cities, since they're restaurant district opens and closes so frequently, restaurants do, so then they just put them into basically a store stuff. Or that might be able to allow us to get more things that we need, like bulk freezers or coolers or whatnot, maybe at a reduced price until we can save money and know that things are in the green for us to purchase newer. But just an option.
Could we look in the next 2 weeks, Brett, Brandon?
Sure.
Yeah, just because it says it's good for 30 days, so we know these prices are set.
Then
for that.
we'd know for sure.
Yeah.
So table it.
Just table it.
Until August.
Till the first.
July 31st.
Maybe we can contact a couple of them. Talk to Dave tomorrow. He'd know.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Dave knows
They
that.
can, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything
Any
else,
other-
guys?
Any other discussion? If not, thank you, Wayne.
Thanks.
So 5B will be tabled till the next meeting, which will be July 31st. We'll move on to number 6, employee matter. Motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2-1-personnel.
I'll make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to STCL 125-21 personnel.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. We are in at 6:23 PM. That being said, is there any other discussion or considerations of item 6? If not, we'll move on. We'll move on to number 7, Police Department. You want to speak on that?
Yes. So I just have an update on National Night Out. So Coke and Pepsi have both donated pop for us to have. Total Stop did donate beans. And then we got a discount on the hamburger that we are buying, the hamburger patties that we are buying, and I will be picking that up on Friday. And I have a volunteer sheet. I think I handed it to Cindy. If I can have it sent around, and just the times that you guys are able to volunteer and what is available from you guys, just so I know who I have that's going to be able to help out. And then another thing I was going to ask, I talked to Darla about this, is if we can approve from 5 to 8, the pool being open for free swim, to open it up to everyone that'll come to the event to be able to use the pool at that time.
I discussed it with the lifeguards, so they're on board, so. I would make a motion to approve.
Well, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
For the inflatables that you guys got, are they all wet dry or just dry?
So the one that we have is a wet dry one, and then the other ones that we have are all dry ones.
So whoever's manning those would just have to not let any kids in wet suits or something? If that's okay, like whoever is going to be manning them? Because I'm assuming kids are gonna wanna go from the jumpy to the pool to the jumpy to the pool. But, sorry, go ahead.
So I'll make a motion to approve free swim for National Night Out, August 1st, 2023, from 5 to probably 8:30. I think that's a typical school hours.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to the next item, motion to approve setting, or we got somebody to hire. You want to talk about that first?
So we got a couple things to talk about tonight. So looking at part-time wages, at the wages that we currently have, no one's interested in coming to Alcester and working. So studying kind of what Beersford does, they pay their part-timers higher than what their full-time officers would start at. So I'm kind of recommending $25 an hour. And we checked with Pat in the budget. I have the sergeant from Beersford that we can hire tonight if we approve $25 an hour for part-time. Being able to recruit part-timers would help me and Kyle out, because right now it's just the two of us. We have a few guys that are only working the fair, and then we won't see them again until the next fair. And then next item is going to be for hiring. It's Sergeant Michael Meinzer. I provided you guys all with his resume in your packet. He brings a lot of experience, and most importantly, he has a lot of instructor certifications that me and Kyle do not have, which allows us to do in-house trainings and save time and money by not having to travel to get our necessary recertifications done. Any questions about that?
And he would be at $25 an hour, correct? If we approved of that. That's what he's wanting, right?
Yep. And then the other item I had to talk about, I know it's probably not going to be popular, but me and Kyle's pay. Okay. So as of right now, no matter what we do at the county, they will only show up to town if there's something super emergency related. Other than that, they will call us day and night, and we have to take the phone. So as part of that, the extra work that's on right now, just the two of us, asking for $2.12 an hour, which would bring Kyle $21.50, and it'd be up to $29.12. As part of it too, with the benefits we're offered by the city, we each have to provide our own dental and vision. Kyle's a little younger, but I'm getting older, so that stuff matters more to me. And then, just for my own personal thing, I mean, I know I've talked to Cindy about my issues, and Lucas as well. But for those that don't know, I have a 21-month-old son. I have to take my ex to court to be able to see him. And so right now I'm getting hammered with legal fees. Lawyers are awesome, by the way. And then as well as child support and back child support, and constantly having to go back to court. So with all that, at the end of the month I have zero money left. So anything more to help would be appreciated.
Any other questions for him? Concerns?
How many hours does this guy from Beersford want?
We work 1 to 2 shifts a week, so we check with Pat up to 20 hours a week. But every week he's not going to work 20 hours. But even right now with him, if he works 1 shift a week, that's a 10-hour period or so that me and Kyle get a break.
And as far as the $2.12 added that you guys are asking for, is there any performance things to back this up, or are you just asking for money to help with your personal issue?
Well, it's the extra work that we have with all the phone calls we take. It shows in the stats we present every month.
And the budget can handle it.
Because I also was, when he was asking about it, I said, we have to ask Pat, because she knows what we gave up for the the on-call is the reason that we can afford it.
I guess what has changed from when Kyle presented before asking for 2150 to now?
Well, before, we thought we could work it out with the county, but they're standing firm and we're on our own. They'll help Jefferson, they'll help Beersford, not us.
And what's the current part-time pay?
Depends if they're certified or
Yeah.
non-certified.
Uncertified is like 17 an hour, and then the certified is the 1938 kicked out.
I'm okay with it because Pat said that we could afford it. And also because hiring police officers right now is not fun. And we didn't get it, and I've talked to other departments, and they just don't have them. I thought it was very odd that when we got a bunch of applications, I have to say 8 out of 10 weren't certified. They were pretty much, they were farmers. And that's all their background was, so.
Yeah, with the interview pool I had, most of them didn't meet the qualifications to be certified as law enforcement officer in South Dakota. And then some of the other ones are no one you'd want to employ as a cop. They had major issues. One had shot a dog on duty. Everyone else around us pays $25 an hour for part-time. So even one of our part-timers, Colton, he got a part-time job in Turner County because he can make $25 an hour over, I think he's still at the 17 an hour that he got, because he's been here longer than us because he worked under Austin.
So when we make these motions, do we have to do both of them then?
Each one at a time. You do each one at a time.
Yeah, no, but
I was only aware of a wage increase for Kyle. So that's the full-time officer.
So the increase of 1 full-time or 2 full-time officers?
What I had talked about with Jared is that if the part-time wage went up, the full-time would go up for Kyle. So,
So do you think we need to look at the budget a little bit closer before we make this motion?
there will still be excess in police because we had a few months with no coverage. I don't know what will be expected in January when normal wages are addressed.
so would you say though that if we did this now, that for next year, they wouldn't get a raise?
You can't really do that, somebody can't back out. You know, once you give somebody a raise.
No, what I'm saying is, when we do the reviews? Is it when they get hired?
You do the wage increase in January.
Oh, for just everybody?
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
And they're set at budget time, which we're having our pre-budget meeting on the Thursday. So. at
So
this
are we
point-
gonna have money available next year to keep it at that rate? Or if we have rate increases, is the money gonna be it?
They always ask for more.
Oh, obviously.
That is
You're not gonna ask for less.
That is the purpose of the pre-budget meeting. That is one of the questions I asked the budget group. What are they thinking for a range? for wage increases, and then I build the budget around what I think would be the highest end of that. And then in January, they're officially set. So to answer your question, the wages are the first thing that I put into the budget, and then everything else comes after that.
I feel like we should wait to make a motion on these until we have our pre-budget meeting and see if we can make it, if it's even feasible for next year to maintain this.
No, not allow us to hire anyone tonight either.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure you understand.
That is my own personal opinion.
That's fine. Any other questions? Or?
But do you have help for the events coming up if there's no part-time?
Colton's working 24 hours total. John is working one day, and apparently Lauren has a daughter that's getting married that weekend, so he hasn't got back. So other than that, it's pretty cat.
That's our dilemma.
Yeah, 'cause
We have the street dance, we have the fair in the next month. That's,
I know, but
It's all in
It's
one
in
week.
two, it's in,
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks.
And that's exactly what was asked for.
right.
And it's that people that haven't met them and we instead of approved since then.
Of course, I just paid July 31st, so would that be, that's before the events, right?
Correct.
Not
After
for
the street dance.
It's before the fair, but not the street dance.
Well, we're gonna have to decide, so we make a motion or table it or whatever you like. I think they do a good job, in my opinion. I see them driving around quite a bit, making traffic stops, trying to keep the community safe. So I do thank you too, both of you guys on that behalf. I think if our budget could support it, I think it would be a wise decision. I mean, hiring a good police officer is well worth it, and paying somebody well, for good duties and services is very, understanding too, I think.
So Jared's couldn't be on here no matter what, because it's not on the agenda, correct?
yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion just with the other thing that's going on to approve part-time $25 an hour.
I'll second
Any other discussion on that?
it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do a motion to approve hiring.
We're in the
Michael.
middle of
You
a
need to
motion.
finish this one.
We
No,
gotta
but
finish.
okay.
Any other discussion on that? If not, all in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion passed. Now we'll move on to E. If we'd like to hire him, Michael, or not.
Why are those two put together? We have a motion to approve hiring and then also setting an officer wage as one motion. Those seem like two completely separate things.
And you can modify that motion if you wish.
I'll modify it. I'll make a motion to approve hiring Michael Menser as a part-time PRN officer
For $25
for
an hour.
$25 an hour. I'm sorry. I wrote it down by this.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. With that being said, you're gonna hold off on the full-time officer, right? Is that correct?
That's all.
Okay.
So will we have the meeting by the 31st then?
The next meeting is the 31st, yes.
No.
Yes, it's
Budget.
Thursday.
Oh, budget is Thursday. Okay. Yep, sorry.
So just review.
No problem.
If not, we'll move on, if there's no other discussion on that. Legal updates with Austin and Sam,
I don't have anything except for what we discussed.
okay? We'll move on to number 9, East Clark Street building permit. We are going to move B before A for the fact that we have the elevator guys here, so we will let them discuss or do whatever you'd like to do. If council has questions, that'd be great too. So,
Yeah, mainly just, we're here to make sure, Pat, I assume everybody's aware of what we're asking for, just to make sure we're here to answer any questions you may have of us, as far as what we're planning to do. So we're open to any questions or clarifications that are necessary.
Is this about the scales? Is that what it is?
Yes, we're planning on putting 2 new scales in, along Clark Street, an inbound and outbound scale, and putting in a new office building just west of the scales on Clark Street as well. The plan would be, once those get built, to demo the existing scale and the existing office, so we can improve the traffic flow through our location.
I guess the concerns, because I'm on the fair board also, and from the city's point, we put a lot of money into that street. We're finding out so much that we didn't know. You know, we've been kind of in the dark about a lot of things. One of our concerns is, at fair board, and they're meeting tonight too, is it gonna be accessible to use during the fair? Is that something that we need to look into, or we're gonna have to make a different entrance?
Well, yeah, I don't have a concern accessing the fairgrounds from Clark Street. The only issue we would have is just not having people drive across the scales.
The scales,
Yeah,
okay.
and so if we can set it up so they're accessing the fairgrounds from Clark Street and then diverting off into the grass, south before they get to the scales, we have no problem or issue with that.
So could they come in from 11 and be diverted down into that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, as long as that diversion is ahead of where our scales are sitting, I think that's fine, shouldn't cause any issues.
Yeah, I understand the scale part, but that would save the city from having to make a whole new
Sure.
access,
Sure.
if you want.
Yeah, and we told Pat, we're more than willing to work with you guys on just setting the final grade on that entrance so that, if you're wanting to create more of a visible entrance into the fairgrounds off of Clark Street, we can certainly work with you guys on that final grade as well. Because we're gonna have to regrade, once we put the scales
Something,
in,
yeah, 'cause
we're gonna
it's
need to
pretty steep,
we're
yeah.
gonna need to regrade that area as well. So
Yeah.
we're certainly open to working with you guys to do that however it works best. Yeah, again, our only sensitivity is just making sure we don't have people driving across the scales.
Okay. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's a very touchy issue.
Yeah.
And I'm very partial to it, and I won't lie about that either. And we've been burned a few times, and so I think it's very workable if we just talk.
Sure,
But there's
absolutely.
been
Yeah,
too
just-
much that's
absolutely.
no one
Get together,
knows
work it out.
anything about.
Yeah, I agree, 99.9% of things can be resolved just by talking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not the one that's gonna make the total decision, but I mean, I think we need to talk as a group, fair board, city, so we're kind of all on the same page. That's the trouble, we're not on a page, everybody's on a different page.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and I just want to make sure I'm understanding things clearly. So we have obviously the building permit to discuss, which should be based upon whatever your regulation requirements and ordinance require us to do for the building permit. And to me, that's a separate issue than if we want to work with you guys, and we're more than willing to work with you guys on entrance to the fairgrounds and access and things like that. Absolutely, we're willing to work with you guys on that. I'll commit to that right now. But I think those are two separate issues versus the building permit, just making sure that we met your requirements in the regulations and ordinance that are necessary, and we answer whatever questions you might have as far as what our structures are and where they're gonna be and what they're for.
Okay, yeah.
So,
But again, just communicating.
Yeah.
so while the county fair is going on, we aren't gonna have semis running down through there when we got all these people.
No,
running around.
we always close our location
I
for
know
the
you-
fair. We've done
I know
that
you have
every
in
year.
the past,
We're gonna
so.
continue to do that.
That's great. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for him?
I'm sure I'll have some.
Well, and the only other thing I'll throw out there, just because it was discussed, is there's a little bit of urgency on our part to try to get started as soon as possible, because we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of electronics that go into these scales. They're gonna be fully automated scales, and we're a little bit concerned if we don't get started like right away, we won't have them ready for harvest. And so that was the other piece. It was a little bit of urgency on our part. I don't think it'll take us very long to get the hole dug and the scales in place. And I think we can have that done well ahead of the fair, because I know there was some concern about where you're gonna have a hole there in the ground that becomes a danger, you know, for people that are at the fair. And we certainly don't want that obviously either. I think if we're able to get started on that yet this week, I think we can have that scale in well before the fair. And so that's a little bit of sense of urgency on our part. Because obviously we lose a lot of economic value of putting the new scale in if we can't meet the deadline and have that ready by harvest time.
So who do we talk to? We still have to talk to the fair board, correct?
Not sure if the attorneys have talked to the commissioners on Cherry Street.
Now that the commission's over there, they were looking at putting it in, that's as far as we've got. I mean, I think if the commission has a concern, they know where to find FCS. I've been in touch with them before, but I did just let them know, so that's where I'm at with
Yeah, and again, just to clarify, I think we've got two separate issues here. We're hopefully gonna make sure you guys are clear on what it is we're planning to do from a building permit standpoint. And again, we can answer any questions that there might be in regard to that. I think access to the fair and access through Clark Street to the fair, to me, is a separate issue that doesn't really involve the fair board. Access to the fair certainly involves the fair board, and they certainly have, I think, you know, some skin in the game on that, certainly. But I'll sit here and publicly commit to you guys, we're gonna work with you and the fair board to make that as easy as possible.
Because don't we have a water issue too? The water line?
There is if Pat, you would know
Oh,
better
yeah,
than me,
they
but
tap 'em.
there is a water main that runs underneath it, but, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've been running trucks with or without grain on Clark for quite a while, right? I mean,
Yeah, for a long time,
Yeah,
yes.
so there's I don't know, I'm assuming it's somewhere, to your point earlier, it's a little bit of a separate issue, but, if you all own Clark Street, I imagine there's gotta be some kind of easement that got city water under it when the railroad owned it.
Yeah, my assumption is there probably was at some point in time. It didn't show up when we did the property purchase, so
Okay.
it's possible the easement wasn't filed, because that's not something that showed up.
Okay. Yeah, but and it's related but kind of separate, so something we can figure out and, yeah.
It is something we do need going forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, I'll tell you, we don't have a problem at all if you guys are needing to create an easement across our ground to get a water line put in. Not a concern. And where we're putting our building and the scales won't interfere at all with where your water line is, so that shouldn't be an issue.
And I am obtaining quotes to move that water valve off of their property and onto city property,
To the south, right?
to the south.
Okay.
Yes. But I'll still have a water line there because there's a fire hydrant in those evergreens.
Any other questions for him? Concerns?
My biggest concern is you start digging and there's an issue and then it's fair. I'm not gonna, you know, that's just 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I would tell you, worst case scenario, let's say we do run into an issue, we can always bring a steel plate in and cover up the hole.
Cover up the hole and just block it around.
Right, and fence it off. Yeah, that'd kind of be, in my book, maybe a worst case scenario.
Okay.
What are you doing for sewer for the new scale house?
Well, we're gonna do a septic system.
Okay,
Yeah.
with a drain field or just the
The
tank?
leach
itself?
field,
Leach
yes.
field, okay.
Yes.
Well, does anybody have anything else?
I would just say if this does happen, I think we do need to tell the 4-H people what's going on. There again, communicate. So they don't just come up here, they're trying to get ready for the fair and bingo, here's all this. You know what I mean? So I think it's something we do have to let them know somehow. Does that sound?
Sounds fair. Are we good? Good. Well, with that being said, I think we'll be done with 9B for right now, so we'll back up to 9A. And we'll have to move into an executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-23 for legal counsel if needed.
Okay. I'll make a motion to enter executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-23 for legal counsel.
Second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We are in at 8:49 PM. We are out of executive session at 9:12 PM. So we'll move on to number 11, camera quotes. That was tabled from the last meeting. I don't know if you want to do anything on that or not. If not, we'll table it or just get rid of it altogether. Right now, if it don't fit the budget, it's totally up to you.
Is that what we discussed it with the budget?
We didn't have the money for it right now. We were gonna table it and talk about when we were meeting for the budget meeting. We are meeting on Thursday, so I think it would be, I would like to table it until the
The 31st.
31st. Just see if we can fit it into the next year's budget.
Okay. Number 12, the bird permit flag retirement ceremony. It's in your handouts. Yeah. Alcester American Legion Auxiliary would like to host a flag retirement ceremony at the Union County Fair on Saturday, August 5th at 10 a.m. This would be a controlled burn on the fairgrounds. This is the same ceremony we have done in previous years before the Veterans Day meal and at the Union County Fair.
I will motion to approve burn permit for Alcester American Legion Auxiliary to host flag retirement ceremony during Union County Fair Saturday, August 5th, 2023 at 10 a.m.
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to number 13, finance updates. 13A, motion to approve the June warrants tabled from the last meeting. Those were, I believe, Kyle's warrants that were not signed. So they did get signed. I believe, Cindy, you signed them?
Yeah, they signed them.
So we would need to get that, those warrants approved.
I'll make a motion to approve June warrants tabled from 7/6/2023 meeting.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. 13B is trailer sale results. I did not get anything from Lonnie. Did he turn anything into you or not?
No, our trailer sold on the website for 4,600. I should be getting a check from Rankin, so when I do get the check and the check clears, then I'll
Oh,
get
that's
the.
way more than what we thought.
I
Yeah.
know.
How much was it?
46. And I will get the mayor to sign the title over.
Any other questions on the trailer sale results? If not, we'll move on to 13C, bill approval with LO audit on-site work. I think they showed up a while back, right, Pat, to
Yep.
do an audit?
And
Like
ELO
any other year, right?
Yep.
Yep.
ELO is doing their billing a little bit different than Palm Berglund. ELO is billing 50% now and then 50% when the audit is complete. And so I'm asking permission to pay the 50% portion of the audit.
I'll make a motion to approve paying ELO for on-site audit work, general fund, $2,550.88. Water fund, $1,275.44. And wastewater fund, $1,275.44.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
The reason Safe and Secure is on here is the final bill came in a little bit more than what was originally approved. It appears that maybe they needed a little bit more labor and then some parts. So just asking permission to pay the difference.
I have a question on, do I have that in here?
It was sent to
In my
you.
email, right?
Yeah,
So
but-
did they have to, I saw the mileage was 208
260.
or 260?
Yeah, they drove 208 miles and it was $260.
Why did they drive 208 miles?
I do not know that answer.
I don't
It's
think-
only 80 miles since we called.
Yeah, I don't really know the reason either. I do know that they planned on getting it done in one day and it didn't go as planned, so they had
Oh,
to
so
come
they
back.
have to come
They had
out
to
another,
come
okay,
twice.
so that's fine,
Yeah.
okay. I just saw it and I was like, 208 miles, where'd they come from?
I drive that every day.
I know, that's what I was like. Okay, sorry, that was my question.
No, that's good.
I'll make a motion to approve paying the remaining balance of pool camera installation to $2,405 out of the general fund.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to 13E, performance reviews, full year and half a year. Abigail, did you get your full year done?
Yes.
That's what I thought. And then Dale, we got a full year left, and Pat, full year. I don't think either one of those have been done, right?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So we got those two, and then the monthly spot checks. I think Carrie, were you in here the other day? And
Yep,
did
got it
yours. Kendra, I don't know if you finished up yours or not. So anyway, you're all aware of that. 13G, reminders and updates. City council meeting is July 31st, 2023, 6 p.m. It is the first meeting that we would have in August. So it's just being held the 31st, being that we got that national night out for the police. Next one, planning and zoning public hearing, July 31st, 2023, 6:30 p.m. And I believe that's for the fence, the fences or whatever that we had made an addendum for.
Correct.
Yep. And then the city council public hearing, excuse me. National Night Out is August 1st, like we talked, 2023 at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Union County Fair, August 3rd through the 5th, 2023. And there is in your handout kind of the rundown of what's going on the days. And then on the 6th is the tractor pull this Sunday afternoon. And I think that's all we have for updates, unless any of you have an update. If not, 14, executive session if needed. If not, we'll last 15, a motion to adjourn the council.
A motion to adjourn the council.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We are out at 9:19 PM.
Did you just send me bring your,
I have mine.
To the cemetery.
I think I have mine.
Well, I have two, one's for my briefcase.
You have that, save this.
I got it.